Today, I want to talk about my favorite video game of all time, Star Wars Republic Commando. I first played Republic Commando because my sister had bought a pack of games called Star Wars The Best of PC, and I saw the disc with Republic Commando and immediately wanted to play it because the commandos look so cool. This game holds a very special place in my heart. It was the first-person shooter I'd ever played, and I fell in love with it. Something that Republic Commando does better than most story-driven games nowadays is how well it balances story and gameplay. You have games today that I like to call movie games. And no, they aren't games based on movies. They're just games that have amazing stories, but mediocre gameplay, so it feels more like you're watching a movie than playing a great game. These are games like BioShock Infinite and The Last of Us. Both of these games have fantastic narratives, but the gameplay gets stale and boring fast, but you keep pushing forward because of how good the story is, despite the fact that after 2 hours, the gameplay went from being, oh, pretty cool, to introducing nothing new and just being pretty boring and stale.
You know what my biggest complaint is? There isn't enough game in this game. For probably half the experience, you're walking around picking up ladders and climbing up stupid-ass ladders and watching cutscenes of people climbing up ladders. There are probably over fucking 100 ladders in this game. This is not fun, Naughty Dog. This is brain-dead fucking nothing. This is monotonous horse fuck.
Thankfully, that is not the case with Republic Commando. The gameplay is in-depth and fun, and constantly changing while also keeping you on your toes, and the story is great. The story keeps you engaged and does a great job of immersing you into the world. Republic Commando is a linear story-driven shooter that's core gameplay is a mix between something like the run-and-gun arena-style gameplay of Halo, mixed with the cover shooting of something like, say, the new Wolfenstein games. My favorite aspect of Republic Commando's gameplay is how much variety there is. Nothing ever gets stale because you're constantly doing something different. Whether it's fighting a new enemy or using a new weapon, nothing feels the same. It also doesn't fall into the trope of having one gun above all. Every weapon feels useful for different situations. They're not one gun that I use for every single encounter. I'm constantly using all the weapons in my arsenal and cycling through all of my grenades. Just because the anti-armor attachment one-shot super battle droids doesn't mean it's going to be effective against a Trandoshan elite. I love this. It really makes you think on your feet and doesn't just give you a god gun that is the greatest against everything. It's not like, oh, here's this one gun that is effective against everything and you'll just use throughout the game. Then you'll occasionally switch to other weapons just because you're bored. No, in this you have to switch to other weapons because otherwise you will die. You'll get your ass kicked. I love all the weapons in this game. You have your normal DC-17, which is great for mowing down battle droids, but not much else. But thankfully, you have different attachments for your DC-17 that completely transform it. You have the sniper attachment, which is great for taking down Trandoshan's elites, and there's also an anti-armor attachment that's most useful for going at super battle droids. And of course, you have a pistol, which is just used when you don't have ammo. On top of the standard issue blasters and the attachments for them, there are weapons that your enemy uses that you can pick up, like shotguns, heavy repeaters, bowcasters, and a bunch more. What all of this weaponry really forces you to do is resource management. You have to decide, hey, there's 4 super battle droids right here that I could easily take out with my anti-armor attachment, but if I do that, there goes all my ammo. My anti-armor ammo is rare. So what if right after this that I run into a bunch of droidicas and super battle droids? Then I'm screwed. So I don't want to waste all of my anti-armor ammo on these guys. I need to think of a different way to take them out, try to do something a bit more tactical than just blowing them up, because I might need that anti-armor ammo for a different part of the game for this next section, because I don't know if there's going to be more ammo there or not. That aspect of the game is great. It really makes you think and manage what you have instead of just spamming the best guns. You sometimes have to use less effective weapons so you can save your ammo for more important engagements, and it's a really cool aspect of the game that not a whole lot of games make you do. You actually have to manage your resources in this game. The enemy variants also really keep you on your toes. For each species you go against, there are different enemy types within those species, but none of them really feel like reskins besides like one, that's it. You have your base battle droids, which are your easiest opponents. They're pretty easy to just mow down with your standard DC-17, even your pistol's effective against these guys. And then you have your super battle droids, who are nothing like they are in the movies. These guys are scary and hard to take down. Your entire squad can be shooting at one super battle droid, and if they're just using their standard rifles, their standard blasters, it will take a long time to take that dude down, and they will shoot missiles at you. They'll come up and melee you. They are not easy like they are in the movies to take down. You also have Grievous's Magna Guards, who are sparely in the game. They're in certain sections, but not in the game very much, and they are the worst enemies. They act like super tough Geonosian grunts, and that's it. The only enemy in the game that didn't really feel unique to me. There's nothing special about these guys. This is the only enemy where they felt like they got lazy. They're like, hey, we should add in the Magna Guards. That'd be cool. And when you first see them, it's like, oh man, this is awesome. And then they flip around instead of fly like the Geonosians do, and then they hit you like the Geonosians. So there's nothing really special to them. They're not that great, but that's the only enemy in this game that I would say that. And lastly, for the droids, there's the droidicas, which are about on par with the super battle droids. I'd say the droidicas and super battle droids are on the same level of when you go against them, it's like, oh crap, I gotta use my grenades or my anti-armor attachment, otherwise it's gonna take a while to take these guys down, and these guys are deadly. Moving on, the Trandoshan's have the slavers, which are the normal grunts but act way differently than the normal battle droids. Trandoshan slavers carry shotguns that can one-shot you, which makes every encounter with these guys intense. You really want to keep your distance, because if you get close, they'll just one-shot you, especially because in parts of the game where you first go against the Trandoshans, you're by yourself, so if you get one-shotted, you don't have your team to revive you, you're just dead. So every encounter with these guys is really intense, and you gotta be careful. And not only do they have shotguns, but if they get pissed off enough, they will just simply throw their gun to the ground, pull out 2 knives, and just start rushing at you. And the first time I do that, it's kind of terrifying, because you're shooting at this guy, he takes his gun, throws it, and then just rushes at you, and you're like, what is going on? Because it's nothing like what the battle droids do. Then there's the Trando Mercs. They have submachine guns and jetpacks. These guys are some of the most satisfying to kill, because if you hit them in the right spot, it triggers their jetpack and sends them flying. And then of course there's the Trando Elites, which are arguably the most terrifying of all the enemies in this game. They carry a heavy repeater, which is sort of like a chain gun, which can kill you in a second. They soak up so much damage, and so it takes forever to kill these guys. You have to make sure that you headshot them with the sniper, otherwise it takes a while to kill these guys. Then you have the Geonosians. For the Geonosians, their grunts fly around and are very agile and will try to dodge most of your attacks while making their way towards you to stab you. The Geonosian Elites, however, are possibly the toughest enemies in the game. They fly around dodging your attacks and hit you with a devastating beam weapon which destroys you and your squad. There were so many moments when I was going against these guys, they just completely destroyed my entire squad, and I was running around trying not to die, trying to revive my squad, because these guys were just hitting me with that beam, and they soak up a ton of damage as well, so it takes forever to kill these guys. And on top of that, they can kill you super fast, and they're flying around, so it's hard to hit them. And these guys, them and the Trandoshan Elites, are probably the hardest to go against in the entire game. They're nothing easy to mess with. They just wreck house. And what I really like about this is none of these enemies can be taken down the same way, and they're not really reskins besides the Magna Guards. That's it. The rest of them all feel different, even though you have like Geonosian Elite, Trandoshan Elite. You'd think they would be the same. You think they'd just be a reskin. Oh, they're both elites are going to be the same. No, one flies around with a beam weapon that can absolutely destroy you. One is very stationary, sits there with his chain gun, will jump around a little bit, but has a very different style gun. That one you're going to want to just take cover and snipe at, to where when you're going against a Geonosian Elite, you're going to want to be running around dodging that beam. You don't want to sit behind cover, because that dude could fly directly over you and destroy you with it. So I love how each enemy you want to take out differently. Every scenario is different. Going against a bunch of Geonosians, better keep on the move or you'll get impaled. But if you're running around while going against a super battle droid, you're dead. It's better to take cover and shoot from afar. One of the biggest elements of this game is your squad. Now, in most modern day games, your squad is just completely useless, brain dead AI. But that's not the case in Republic Commando. In this game, your squad mates are an integral part of the game and can handle themselves, but at the same time, they won't win the game for you. Now, the game definitely encourages you to use your squad, but doesn't feel like you're forced to. It's not like, haha, we're forcing you to use this mechanic that you hate. No, you want to use your squad because of how useful they really are. Telling your squad to do something as simple as breach a door or hold a sniping position is great for immersing you into the game and making you feel like you really are the leader of Delta Squad. And on top of that, it's really useful to be constantly using your squad. One of the moments that I'll never forget when I just recently replayed this game was when I was running around and I hear Fixer tell me there's an enemy behind me. So I turn around and I see a super battle droid that I thought I had just killed. It was crawling on the ground trying to destroy me, trying to kill me. And I was like, what the? I couldn't believe that that was a mechanic in the game, that it told me there was an enemy behind me. Because most of the time, something happens when your squad tells you something in most games, it's just a line. It doesn't actually mean anything. He told me behind me. He told me that there's an enemy behind me, so I look behind and he's crawling, a dude that I thought I had just killed. I couldn't believe that. It seems very simple, but most games don't really have anything like that. I love it.
Let's use this clear line of fire. Ready weapon. 3-8 behind you.
I love how capable your squad is in this game. It really makes you feel like you're part of this advanced clone commando unit, and it's great. Republic Commando has some of the funnest, most satisfying, and in-depth gameplay in any shooter I've ever played, and on top of all of that, it's coupled with a fantastic story. The game opens up with you and your pod on Commando while the cloners tell you about what makes you so special and superior to your clone brethren. From there, you get a brief introduction to your squad mates / brothers, and then you're sent on your first mission. Your first mission is on Geonosis at the very beginning of the Clone Wars, and your job is to assassinate Sunfac. Sunfac served as Poggle the Lesser's chief lieutenant. Poggle the Lesser was on the Separatist Council, so killing his chief lieutenant was a big deal. On your way to killing him, you meet up with your squad. The game familiarizes you with how to best utilize your squad and how each squad mate acts. Zev is the ruthless killer of the bunch, whose whole goal is to up his body count. Scorch is the wisecracking clone who just wants to blow stuff up, and Fixer is the brains of the bunch and a stand-up soldier. And then there's you, the stoic, badass leader who genuinely cares about his squad and sees them more as brothers than just his squad mates. The team works wonderfully together and has some great dialogue that really helps to build character and will have you cracking up throughout the entirety of the game.
So let me get this straight. The Trandos have stolen this ship to give to the Separatists to buy battle droids? I hate it when they do that.
You really do build a connection with these guys, so whenever anything happens to a member of your team, you want to go and murder the bastard who dare touch one of your brothers. While throughout most of the game, you're with your squad, there's some sections of the game where you are on your own, and these are the most intense sections of the game. One of the sections is when you split up in a droid factory and you're sneaking around by yourself with super battle droids in sleep mode right next to you, and you're praying they don't wake up, because if they do, it's just you to deal with them. Just another part of the game that makes you think on your feet, and I absolutely love it. Throughout the entirety of the story, you'll assassinate a chief lieutenant in the Geonosian army, destroy a droid factory, take back an acclimator capital ship that's been overrun by Trandoshan slavers, help Wookiees that are being captured by Trando slavers, stop the Separatists from taking over Kashyyyk, and severely cripple the Separatist fleet during your time on Kashyyyk. One of the best parts of this game is immersion. You really feel like Delta Squad, a Black Ops team sent behind enemy lines to do for the Republic what only elite soldiers like you can do. You can tell from the first time a wild Geonosian runs up to you, screams in your face, and then you stab it and Geonosian blood splatters all over you, and just to be wiped off by your self-cleaning visor, that this is a different type of Star Wars game.
Terminated. That doesn't sound good. Must be the battle upstairs. Nice strike. This place gives me the creeps.
This game is a wild ride full of awesome jaw-dropping moments and great characters, and I love it every step of the way. And replaying this game really showed me how much I love it. It had been a bit since I played it. I used to like to play it every year, but it had been a little bit since I'd actually beaten the campaign, and I just love this game so much. It holds up very well, and like I said, its mix of gameplay and story is unmatched in my opinion. Very few games are able to do this. Most games either choose great gameplay and okay story, or great story and okay gameplay. If you're lucky, it's one of those two. But then you have the amazing games like Republic Commando that are able to balance a fantastic story with super fun gameplay. If you have never played Republic Commando, I highly recommend you do. I'm not sure if it's backwards compatible on Xbox One, because it did come out for Xbox and PC. And if you play it on PC, which I'm sure most of you guys would, there's a mod that makes it to where it works with more modern aspect ratios, because in the original game you can't play 1920 by 1080. So if you go back, definitely make sure to download that mod so you can play on 1920 by 1080. Also, because of Star Wars Day, Steam and GOG are going to be having this game on sale. Definitely, it's probably going to be like $3, so it's 100% worth giving a shot if you have a PC, because any PC can run this since this game's so old. It's so good, definitely try it out. It's a shame this game never got a sequel. I really hope that EA will bring it back and make a sequel and actually give care to it, not try to make it a multiplayer game. Realize that is a story-driven shooter and bring it back. I'd love to see what they could do with Republic Commando 2. Just this franchise could go in so many different directions. I'd love to see it come back. So yeah guys, that was it for this video. This was my love letter to Republic Commando, which is my favorite game of all time, and I want to hear from you guys in the comments below. What do you think of Republic Commando if you've ever played it? If you haven't, what do you think of the video? And also, what is your favorite Star Wars game, since it is Star Wars Day? Hope you guys have a good May 4th, and I'll see you guys later. I really do want to hear from you guys in the comments below though, and if you want to see more stuff like this, make sure to like the video and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.